Okay, here we go. Well, welcome to today's episode of the Voice Podcast. It's an audio-only episode due to some technical difficulties. But as always, I am joined by Student Association President Elle McFeeters. How are you doing today?
Hi there, I'm doing well. It's Elle here. It's a beautiful day outside, which is great. Thanks for having me, Leighton. How are you?
Always great. Thank you so much. And we're joined by the guest of honor today, Miss Ellie Steele. Thanks for joining us, Ellie.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Awesome.
Hi, Elle and Ellie. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. There might be some confusion today, but we'll make it work. So, Ellie, I know that you had reached out to us in responding to coming on the podcast to potentially be a host, and I really liked a lot of the messaging that you kind of brought with you. I was just wondering if you could speak to the impact that St. Lawrence College has had on you as a mature student and why you eventually chose St. Lawrence College.
Yeah, no problem. So I started off, I'm a holistic health practitioner, so I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I have my own practice doing holistic health. I've been doing that for 20 some years. And I decided that I wanted to go back to addictions, counseling, social work, something along those lines. And I started with some online courses at McMaster. And then that just wasn't working, and they changed the program on me. So I was looking for an alternative to that. And I decided that I wanted to do in person. So when you work in Kingston and you live in the Kingston countryside, and it doesn't leave a lot of options, especially for, I wanted more practical applications. So St. Lawrence was kind of a no-brainer. So when I actually applied for colleges, that was the only college that I applied to. It made the most sense for me. So I'm going into second year of the social service worker program, just to augment the counseling skills that I need for a health coaching practice. So it was an easy choice for me to go with St. Lawrence College.
Awesome. That sounds really great. And I remember something before that you were saying about the placement opportunities of your program.
Yeah, absolutely. That was part of why I wanted the practical experience rather than a university education that you can do online. Because networking and having people know who I am and getting to know the people in the social work field in Kingston was important to me. I have 2 placements coming up for next year. So fall 2020, I'll have 2 placements the total duration of the school year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's really great. And so with this placement, have they discussed anything if there comes a chance in the fall that maybe you can't be in person? Now, it might be a little bit different.
I know, it's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
I think so far it's kind of a wait and see approach.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anything official yet. I know that there were students in the fast track program in my program that were supposed to be on placements now, and their placements were canceled until July at the earliest. So I don't know if they're doing their placements in July or not. But so far, our fingers are crossed, and I mean, it might be a work from home type of situation in placement. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense as long as the opportunity is still offered. And I guess being optimistic in this situation.
Yeah. What choice do we have, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting to hear. I know a lot of our students also own businesses on the side. Ellie, could you tell us a little bit more about what you do for a living?
Yeah, sure. So I do a number of things, actually. So my practice, I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm an EFT practitioner, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. I'm a personal trainer. I kind of bundle all that together to do health coaching, holistic health coaching. So I work with clients, usually one-on-one, but I teach classes as well. And I teach people how to manage their health, like how to actually get healthy, stay healthy, eating whole foods, lifestyle interventions, exercise, creating a stress management protocol. So I'm kind of just the health girl. So helping my clients figure out how to have the healthiest, happiest life they can is my goal. So I do that. That's my business. I work from home. I work via Zoom. I do things online. I do in-person classes and that sort of thing too, when we get back to that. But I also work part-time for the city of Kingston. So I work at the gym at the Invista Center. So that's my part-time employment. And I'm also a volunteer firefighter with South Frontenac.
No way.
So I don't
really?
have a lot of time for that. You know, it kind of gets what's left over, unfortunately. But I've been on the fire department for 15 years, and I do my best to try to pull my weight, which I don't very
That's
often.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really
I try to
amazing.
show up. Yeah.
Thank you for all the things that you do. That's really, really wonderful.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're kind of the one-stop shop for any kind of health kind of needs, which is an interesting concept, because there's so many disciplines out there in the health field, and you seem to kind of have rolled them all into one bundle. How much has that approach really brought you success, and are you finding your clients enjoy that?
Well, it's interesting because that wasn't my intention starting out. A lot of people that are in my field are in the same boat as far as we were trying to heal ourselves. We were looking for our own solutions and our own answers. And that's certainly been my story too. So I struggled being overweight as a kid, having low self-esteem, and trying to learn about nutrition. I mean, when I was in high school, I was lifting weights in the gym with the football players, and I was reading fitness health magazines, but it wasn't healthy at all. You know, it's kind of borderline bulimic, and I had all kinds of body image issues. So for me, it was certainly a journey of learning and just following step by step. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it just kind of came together as this multidisciplinary, multifaceted approach. So trying to market that is not always easy, because being the one-stop shop is not usually terribly marketable, right? You kind of need to have a niche. You need to be able to talk to people about what their problems are and how you have a solution for them. Because I have such a broad range of skill sets, just from my own, my own learning and growth, I can draw on a lot of those things, but it makes it challenging, actually. So it took me a long time to settle into kind of food addiction, body weight, or body image issues. And so that's more where I focus my work with clients. But it took me an awfully long time to get there. And so because of that, it took me a long time to figure out that I needed to get some mainstream education in social work, because all of my education to that point was here and there and here and there, and courses that I had taken on my own. And none of it was considered kind of mainstream post-secondary education. It was all things that I had learned on my own. So it's different.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see your points to that. I mean, it's definitely good to have a well-rounded background, but it's definitely good of you to realize that you needed to kind of find something more to focus towards in that specific area that is really meaningful to you. And I think that's really great.
Yeah, thanks.
For sure. And if you don't mind me asking, what's the end goal when you graduate St. Lawrence in a year or two and you're all educated? What does that look like for Ellie Steele?
Yeah, good question. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm just kind of going with the flow on this. I mean, I have some ideas. It's the next logical step for me. So I do a lot of that trusting in the next logical step and just going for it. So that's what I had to do with this. If I had to say kind of what I'm aiming towards, it might change. But right now, where my sights are set on a health clinic out here in South Frontenac area. I'd love to have a whole lot of money to build a clinic in the woods, and be able to have a bunch of different clinicians work together, and that could be a food addiction, it could be traditional addiction work. But that's kind of what I'm thinking, is being able to have a clinic. It's a good model. A lot of people are doing that now, getting a lot of clinicians, holistic clinicians or otherwise, working together under one roof and being more of a one-stop shop. So you're not just dealing with one person, you're getting a whole facet of professionals that can help people move into a healthier lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that's the kind of goal right now, but we'll see.
That's awesome. That's something to look forward to. I think that would be a good benefit to your community. So kudos for having that goal. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
There was something else that you mentioned a few minutes ago that it piqued my interest, because I also was a volunteer firefighter a few years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that was a really cool experience in my life. I did it for 2 years when I lived in British Columbia. we responded to everything from, you know, kitten rescues in a tree to T-bones on the highway type of thing. So
Yeah.
it was a great range of kind of emergencies to respond to. I figured out that it wasn't for me. Didn't want to have a 40+ year career in that, but I did enjoy helping people. So what was maybe, or what were or are some of your biggest takeaways from that career path, and what has it brought you?
From volunteer firefighting? Well, I joined the department because right out of high school, I went to work at DuPont, which is now in Vista, so the manufacturing plant. So I was working there for a few years, and I really liked the camaraderie of working shift work with a crew. I felt like I fit in, you know, it was a really nice feeling, and I was missing that working on my own. And I had a partner at the time that was a volunteer firefighter. He went on to become a professional firefighter, or career. We don't call them professional. We call them career firefighters if you're volunteer, because it implies that we're not professional if you're a volunteer.
Yeah.
So we call it career firefighter. He went on to do that, and I applied for South Frontenac to be a volunteer. And definitely the drive to help people is something that, I don't know, I was born with. It's not something that I developed. So my career path as far as the holistic health, it just kind of blossomed out of this kind of natural innate sense of wanting to be of service. And so firefighting was along the same lines, and it also gave me an opportunity to build some of that camaraderie and have a team and be part of something like that. So that's been really helpful for me. And if I had a slightly different path in life, I could see myself moving towards career firefighting. But at this point now, I'm 46 years old, and I've kind of now got my sights set on the holistic health stuff. I've left alone the idea of becoming a career firefighter, which actually I'm completely fine with. But it's something that it's exciting, right? Like you said, you learn a lot. Every experience is different. So every day you go to work, I mean, or you respond to a call, it's different. There's no monotony there. Well, there's a certain amount, but yeah, that for me, it's that camaraderie, and that being able to be of service to people, you know, on their worst day, being there and being able to help. But like I said, I wish I had more time and energy for that, because I really don't give it what it deserves. But it's there, and I try to help as much as I can.
Yeah, I think it's interesting hearing you talk about it, because for me, and I think Leighton knows this, but for me, being a volunteer firefighter is sort of on my bucket list. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a part, because I think, like everything you said, you learn so much, and you get to really, really help the community that you live in. But right now, obviously, I'm pretty busy with school and work, and I'm trying to get that fitness side of it.
Yeah, that's big.
Just to get up to par, right?
Especially for women. I hate to say it, but we do have to work harder at the fitness portion of it.
For sure.
To be able to do the things that you're required to do. It's not as stringent usually on a volunteer department, although that's changing now. But yeah, I'm a CrossFitter, kind of. I used to do CrossFit religiously 5 days a week, and now obviously with gyms changed, and also my own gym has changed. I still go to a CrossFit gym, but we don't do the kind of hardcore CrossFit anymore. But still a lot of lifting, you know, there's a lot of fitness component that goes into being prepared to do those jobs.
Yeah, for sure. And I've learned that my dad has some friends who are firefighters, so they were kind of giving me some tips and different workouts to focus on, you know, a lot of cardio and weightlifting and things like that.
I
will say one thing about quarantine is I feel like I've almost stepped up my game.
Good for you.
Because I have weights and everything at my house. So
yeah, it's awesome.
One really good thing about quarantine is I've definitely seen improvements in strength-wise and cardio.
Good for you. I've gained 10 pounds since March.
I think that's more typical.
Yep, took it off me, gave it to you.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for that. Keep it up. Awesome. Well, this has been interesting. I think volunteer firefighting and the holistic health approach that you preach. are really good things that I think we need more of in this world. And it's great to hear you have such a positive outlook and a want and an innate desire, like you said, to help people. That's great. So we've got a few questions for you, Ellie, that are supposed to be fun. If there's nothing here that will stump you, it's kind of like just getting to know you a bit. So let's move into that a little bit. Elle, do you have those?
Yeah, I do, and I can read them off. I just want to say one thing before we get into this.
Yes, please.
Every time you say Ellie, I go to be like, yeah.
But
I'll get used to it.
I've always wanted to be called Steel.
Oh,
Really? Okay, that's a good nickname.
Steel.
I mean, you don't have to. I can hear the difference. It always just, my mind is always like, is he talking to me? No.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When I hear people talking about LA, does this get you too, Elle? People are talking about LA, like a sports team. My ears, I'm like, what? LA? What?
Yeah, and then we work with a Raquel and an Allie. So our executive director, Beth, will say, she calls Raquel Cal. So I always say, yeah. And then sometimes when I hear Allie too, I'm like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Are you talking to me? Interesting.
That's awesome.
Okay, yeah, so I can get started with these questions. So the first question that we have for you today, Steele. So are you an early bird or are you a night owl?
Oh, I'm definitely a night owl.
Really?
Yeah. No, I hate getting up in the morning.
And then is there reasoning behind it? Like, what do you do at night?
Well, I don't have to do anything, but I don't know, I have this weird resistance to going to bed. It's like I don't want the day to end. It's kind of strange. Like I'm like a little kid. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to bed. I don't know what that is. But if I have to get up early in the morning, I can manage it. But it's really not pleasant for me at all. So if I can wake up naturally around 8:30, 9, I'm good. But if I have to get up earlier than that, then it takes some effort.
I know.
Wow. No, I mean, that's super interesting. I'm kind of the same reasoning, but the opposite. So I think when I wake up, I love waking up early. I wake up super early every day, like 6 to 7 a.m. I guess that's not super early, but early enough.
No, that's good. I wish I were more like that.
I like it because I feel like I get more out of my day.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it's the same idea, just different.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way if I have to get up early. Yeah, I love that. It's like noon and you've already done so much. And no, that's not the way my life usually rolls.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
What about you, Leighton?
I'm definitely a night owl. I always have been. Mornings aren't my thing. When I'm up late at night, it's talking to friends, it's watching shows, it's reading, all that kind of stuff. But when I did work super early mornings, I do enjoy that period in the morning where you do have a lot of productivity. You wake up at 5 or 6, you have your day done by noon. It's great. So.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So I'll move on to the next question. So what is your favorite TV show or movie? And this can be current because I know this is difficult. Like,
yeah, it's hard, right?
All-time favorite.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you. I'd have to think for hours about my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
But I found a great show that I loved the other day, well, a couple weeks ago, called Tacoma FD.
Okay.
It's only got 1 season right now, but it's about a fire department, but it's hilarious. I loved it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
I think it was on Crave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was on Crave.
I always miss out on those Crave shows and movies.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but.
No, that's a good one. I liked it. It was pretty funny. And I'm waiting for season 2 on that because it's pretty realistic too about fire department life.
Yeah, I guess it's relatable, right? Like if you watch a show or a movie that's like, yep, that's true.
Yeah.
That's great. Leighton, what about you?
My all-time favorite movie, I'm throwing it back, is Gladiator from 2001 with Russell Crowe.
Oh yeah,
nice.
That's good.
I've always just loved the history of the Roman Empire, and I just thought it was a super interesting movie, how they kind of did everything. The production value was there. I think in one of the scenes, they accidentally filmed an airplane flying overhead, so that made the cut, unfortunately. It's kind of weird to see an airplane flying over the Colosseum of Rome, but other than that, A+ movie in my books.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Miss Steele, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book. That's tricky too.
I know.
Favorite book. So the book that I'm currently reading, that I've been trying to, when I have time to read, to get through, is called Rage Becomes Her.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's
I've heard of that.
yeah, it could be. I think it won some awards, and it's written by a professor in women's studies, I believe, and it's just about how women suppress our rage. We're taught from a young age that we can't be angry, right? So much the same way that guys are taught they can't cry, girls are taught that they can't be mad.
Mhm.
So I've been reading that on and off for a couple years, and I really enjoy that book. So if rather than give you my favorite book, because I wouldn't have a clue what that is, I'll give you that one.
Awesome. That works. How about you, Elle?
I mean, that one's hard for me too. I definitely want to read that book that you're just talking about because it sounds awesome. But I'm a pretty big reader. I guess if I had to maybe pick one, I just finished reading it the other day. Well, rereading it is The Outlander. You might have read it.
Is that a series?
No, it's not a series, but it's just basically about like two brothers, and they have like a pack of bloodhounds, and they basically are trying to track down this young woman who is traveling across like the wilderness and stuff. And she's young and she has a little bit of mental instability, and she actually it was said that she murdered her husband, so she's kind of like on the run from these guys. But I'm kind of more into, I really like educational books and self-reflection books and things like that. But I think when it comes down to it, when I have to pick more like my favorite kind of books, they're always a little bit more telltales, a little bit more mystery involved, just that sort of thing, that it gets, I don't know, I find it gets my creativity going. Like I can really picture things and imagine different things. So it's a really great book.
Mm-hmm.
Good, right on. I have a favorite, I don't have really a favorite book, but I have a favorite author. His name is John Grisham, and he writes a lot of legal thrillers. One of his best books, in my opinion, it was about a lawyer. And he basically starts out poor and he gets rich through all his lawsuits, and he finds out that having money and everything that he ever wanted wasn't what he actually wanted, and he just wanted to be happy and live with the lady he loved. And I think it was a good life lesson book.
Which one was that?
It's called The King of Torts.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. They didn't make that one into a movie?
No, he's had 3 or 4 made into a movie, but not that one, unfortunately. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so I guess I'll ask the next question. Ooh, this is a really tough question, Layton.
I know.
If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, if I had to eat one meal every day for the rest of my life, I'd have to go with a smoothie.
Really?
Because I already do that every day, and I have no problem doing that for the rest of my life. Because it's easy, and I put, my good quality protein in it, and and greens, and so if I had to eat something and it's easy to drink, because any other meal, something you're going to eat every day, you're going to get sick of it after a while. I know some people are like, they love routine, so they can eat the same meal every day and not have a problem with that. I'm not that person, but I can do the smoothie. So if I had to eat something every day, and I would even do the same smoothie, I'd be okay with that. Wouldn't have like berries and water, and I'd be all right with that.
Interesting. I'm kind of like one of those people where I could eat the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
I basically do. I like to mix it up, but it's almost like I'll mix it up where I like make a different meal like in the week kind of thing, because I like to prep, like make more things in bulk. Yeah. So like some weeks I'll make like pesto chicken, and other weeks I'll have like salmon and potatoes, but it's like the same kind of simple meals every single week.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, whenever I get this question, I always just say chicken and a really good Greek salad.
Oh yeah,
Like
Greek
that's
salad.
my, you know, if I had to, I could eat that every day and be totally fine.
Greek salad. I'm with you there. That's awesome.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
would have to
Yeah.
say seafood. Any type of seafood. I love crab, lobster, mussels, clams, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with
that's
seafood.
good stuff.
Nice.
All right. Question 5. This is for both you. If you could have an unlimited supply of anything for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? So we're talking like, would you have an unlimited supply of sushi? Would you have an unlimited supply of smoothies? What would it be?
Can I say money?
I was literally thinking that. Or I was thinking gas. Like,
Yeah.
can I just supply of gas?
Yeah.
Workout clothes? I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I
Never
thought,
get enough of workout clothes.
I know. I thought money too. I think we can put us
Yeah.
down for money. There you go.
Yeah.
If I had to say like something small, I might say like mascara or something.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Something really simple that I use every single day that I, you know. That,
Yeah, I
like,
was thinking cotton balls originally.
nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's famous. Something you have to use every day that you really miss if you don't have it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. Okay, so I'll ask the next question. Are you a traveler or a homebody?
I am a homebody.
Nice.
Yeah. I wish I could get that traveling bug, or maybe I don't because I don't have the unlimited supply of money yet. I haven't traveled much. I mean, a little. I've been to Mexico a couple times. I've been to Cuba. You know, I've been to some of the States, but I haven't even seen all of Canada, which I'd really like to someday do the coast to coast thing. But I'm really content being at home. So right now I don't really have any desire, need to travel, but maybe when I'm older,
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, I guess quarantine it's good
Oh
that you're in
yeah,
quarantine.
exactly. Yeah.
And you're home.
What about you guys?
Yeah. For me, I'm more of a traveler. I like to have a home base, like somewhere I can come back to. But even like on a daily basis, I'm not home very frequently. Usually leave my house around 8 in the morning, and I'll get home around like 6 at night, kind of thing. On like a normal basis, obviously these times, I have enjoyed being home and kind of like focusing a little bit more on the life out of like the work-life balance thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on a regular basis, I'm usually a little bit more out and about. I like to travel. I grew up all over the place, like in the States and in Toronto and Kingston. So I think I've always had that. I was kind of raised on that.
I think for the most part, I'm definitely a homebody, but I do have a bit of the traveler's bug. I grew up in Banff, Alberta, so I've seen all of Western Canada, seen the Northern Territories, been to almost every state. But I definitely have the travel bug to get to Europe, and I really want to go to Japan. So I'm kind of 50-50 on that one.
Ah, cool.
All right. So this next question kind of goes hand in hand with our last question. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be, Ellie?
Just for a year?
Just for 1 year.
I think I would try smack dab on the other side. I'd go to Australia, I think.
Ooh, cool. That's a good answer.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to live on the other side of the planet.
What
For
about
sure.
Australia has a draw to you?
Well, definitely not the snakes and spiders. But because I haven't been there, I don't know much about what their culture is like. But I've had a couple of clients from Australia, so obviously the weather, they have complete opposite weather to us. I had a client, it was minus 40 here, and it would be plus 40 there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was so freezing cold, frigid here, like in those times where it's so bad you can hardly go outside. Exactly the same there, but for the exact opposite reason.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd just be interesting to see the difference, right? And how that impacts the culture, and maybe it doesn't. Like, because people say that Canadians and Australians are a lot alike, and maybe it's just that night and day type of thing. So that I'd be curious to see how different it is, or maybe not.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good choice.
How about you, El?
I mean, that's a tough one too, because there's tons of places that I would love to live for a year. I think right now, I mean, not right now as in quarantine. Like if we weren't in quarantine, but at this current state in my life, I think I would want to go live in Spain, because I have a really, really good friend of mine, Val, who we've had on the podcast. She lives in Madrid. So I think it would be nice to go and live somewhere that I had a best friend, right? So I could still kind of have some sort of a connection, and then she'd be able to show me a good time.
Absolutely. I like that. I also think Spain would be cool. I love the food and the wine, so I'll come over for a visit.
Okay, sounds good.
If I had to live anywhere, I think, ladies, I would stick in Canada, and I think I would choose either Vancouver because I think it's the most beautiful city, or Montreal because I wanna parler français.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I really enjoy both. Vancouver, hands down, I think is one of my favorite places in Canada.
Yeah.
But I love Montreal too, but it's way too cold.
Oh, okay.
Way too cold.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. You got number 8 there, Elle?
Yep. Okay, so would you rather meet, oh, sorry.
Oh, it's spelled wrong.
Okay, would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
I think I'd have to go with the ancestors on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons is because I don't have any kids.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily going to have any direct descendants. But I think that there's a long history of interesting people, especially the women in my family, that I'd like to go and have a chat with. So yeah, I think I'd go back.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I think so. I'm with you there, Miss Steele. I think I'd want to go back in time, and my family's Scottish and English, so just to go back a couple hundred years and see how they made that journey would be super interesting.
So I'm kind of on the
Neat.
opposite side, where I think I would go and meet my descendants.
Ooh.
And the reason, I think if you would ask me like a month ago, I probably would have said ancestors, because I do think that's really interesting and it's important to understand where you come from and your history. But something, I can't remember what I was watching or what it was from, but it was like an interesting fact, not necessarily fact, but how there's no way to know what your descendants are going to be like or what they're going to remember. So I think on one hand, it would be really interesting to see the types of lives they're living, what they have become, what like the family name has kind of turned into, and as well as having them meet me as well, as sort of giving them that piece of history, and that remembering your ancestors is important and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a kind of cool perspective. I didn't really think of it that way, so thank you. All right. We got 3 left. So question number 9. Miss Steele, what's the best piece of advice you have ever been given for your life?
Oh, that's the tough questions again.
I
know,
Best piece of advice. I have so many pieces of advice that have been given that have helped me and I call on. This one, this is a little bit of a downer, but it actually has been pretty helpful. And it was my mom, and she said, life is a collection of moments, and you have to grab a hold of the ones that are happy. Because the ones in between, a lot of them are not happy. You know, there's sadness and there's trauma and there's all kinds of heartache. And that's what life mostly is. I don't know, I not necessarily agree with that, but if you take those moments of joy and bliss and you grab them with both hands and really relish them, then it leads to a happier life, right? So I certainly remember that and I think of it often. So I would say that that's in my top 10.
Awesome. I like
Awesome.
that.
Yeah, no, that's really great. I think for me, I mean, that's hard too, because I don't know how much advice I've given over the years, and I don't know how much of it was useful. But I think from some that I've actually seen kind of someone take my advice was basically just from college and from my friends and things like that is to just go for it. Really, that's about it. Anything that they want to do that they're considering. Joining a club. I know a few of the people who were running for the board last year, they were hesitant to kind of do something that they thought maybe I should do this. And that's something that I consistently tell people is like, you know what, go for it. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? If it doesn't work out, then that's fine. It's no harm, no foul. You can move on.
Mm-hmm.
But you never want to not take a chance just because you're a little bit hesitant or nervous.
No,
I think that for me is probably the best.
That's good advice. Yeah.
I like that. Elle, yeah, you've always kind of embodied that to me. You're positive and you do kind of push people in that direction. So definitely I do second that for sure. Best piece of advice I've ever been given, I think we all kind of know it, is just screw what other people think and do what makes you happy, and who cares if they judge you. I think that's pretty
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah.
I definitely think at the end of the day, is it really going to matter what people think of you when you're living the life that you want and you're happy? I don't think so. So that's why I got to go with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
Great.
Are you number 10?
So, yeah. If you could choose any 2 famous people to have dinner with, who would they be? Leighton, this is like not fair.
2. Well, the first one that comes to mind is Elon Musk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first one that comes to mind. Someone else, it'd have to be somebody funny, see if we can get some weird dynamics going with Elon Musk. And maybe Robin Williams, if he were still alive. You guys probably, maybe that's an idiot. Something like that. Elon Musk and a comedian would be pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. Robin Williams, great call on that. He was also kind of in my running for sure.
Yeah.
The 2 people though. Oh, geez. I would have to say Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeff Bezos right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Barack Obama, that's always a good one.
Just to hear their philosophies and what made them successful, and just soak up any knowledge that I can use to kind of move my career and myself forward. I think it'd be really cool to sit down with those 2.
Nice.
Cool.
I think for me, I would have to say Alan Watts for sure. I think that he is just super interesting. I think some of his perspectives just on pretty much everything, like life, love, like overthinking, just being a person, being present, and just kind of the different things like that he embodies, like in spiritualism and things like that. I think it would be really, really awesome to have a conversation with him. And then as well as, I think I'd have to go with Jack Black for my second one,
Really?
which would be an interesting combo to have. I think Jack Black would enjoy it. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a very, he has some really interesting perspectives, but I don't know. I've just loved him since I was a kid. Like, I don't know why. I just always loved him. I remember when I was a little girl, I asked my dad if I could invite Jack Black to my tea party. Because I just thought he was so funny and so nice and just like such a genuinely good person. So I think that would be my 2.
What did your dad say?
Oh, he actually told me to write a letter.
Awesome.
And that we would mail it to Jack Black, and then we would wait to hear back from him or to see if he would respond. And I mean, he fully prepared me. He was like, he might not answer,
Right.
but you're this little girl, this cute little girl, and you're inviting him to have tea party because you just
That's
talk
awesome.
to him and hang out with him. So
I wish he'd come. That would be a great story.
Yeah, he didn't respond, obviously, eh?
no, he didn't. I think I forgot about it too.
Okay.
To be honest. Like,
Yeah.
it was one of those ages where I was quickly growing out of tea parties. Like it was like a switch.
Awesome. Okay, last question. Miss Steele, I kind of have an idea where you might be leaning on this because of what you told us already, but what is your absolute dream job?
Yeah, you're right. You already know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I can't define it as far as what a title would look like, but it would be something in the helping field and the helping profession, doing what I'm already doing. I always say I didn't choose this career path, it chose me. I didn't have a lot of option as far as free will, I don't think. So it's doing what I'm already doing, just on a maybe a bigger scale, and being able to help more people. And it's just it's so empowering for me when I get off a call with a client and I know that something in their life is shifted for the better as a result of the training I've had and the work I do with people, and the ability to connect with them. So more of what I'm already doing, it would be my dream job, which is, I'm lucky to be able to say that, because not a lot of people can.
Absolutely.
Nice. I think that's really awesome.
For sure. Dream job. See, this is a tough one. I put it last. It's definitely the hardest one for me. I really don't know. I'm going to have to hear what Ella has to say, and I'll make up my mind here.
I mean, it's hard for me to put a specific title on it as well. Like, I have an idea. I think for me, it's just being in a position. I do want to be I don't necessarily want anyone above me. Like, I would like to be kind of the boss in a way, but the boss in like a organization or a corporation that really supports people and creates a lot of impact in people's lives. Like, I think that's what really drew me to the position that I'm in now, is just making as much meaningful impact in people's lives as I possibly can. Like, I think that's definitely my life mission. I used to think I had to go as far as becoming like the president of the United States, but I don't think I need to take it that far if it doesn't go that far. So even just being in an organization that I'm passionate about, I think that is kind of really the dream for me.
Nice.
Good. Yeah, I think so too. I definitely, if you were to run for office down there, you'd have my vote, Elle.
Oh, thanks.
Do you get a vote?
No, you're right.
He doesn't, but it's okay.
Right?
We won't tell him that.
My dream job.
Dreamer.
Yeah, I think I'd be a sports marketer, working with probably my favorite hockey team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and just kind of helping push that brand forward with community connections. Just making things better, doing food drives, racism awareness, all that kind of stuff. But also still having the sports kind of connection side to it. I'd be like a little girl and ask for autographs from all of my favorite players and all that stuff. So sports marketing, I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it sounds like we're all on the right path.
Yeah.
To reach our dreams, which is really, really awesome. And I think platforms like this too, and doing the podcast, just gives us more of that ability, even more, to connect with people and offer our supports and guidance to people. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, like you said, it's a great platform to have a good outreach. And even today, talking with Miss Steele, we didn't know her an hour ago, and now I feel like I know her pretty well. We got all these questions for her. So no, I just want to second that. It's been an awesome platform to kind of have the opportunity to do this for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're getting close to our allotted time. I just wanted to say thank you both so much for making yourself available today and having this chat with us. And I really hope you guys take some positive messaging out of this. And Miss Steele, we're going to try again to have you back on soon with video, hopefully in the next month. But thank you so much for coming on today.
No problem. Thank you guys. Nice chatting with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to second that too. Ellie, it's been really, really great getting to know you. I love doing podcasts like this because I feel like Leighton said, just like I know you so much better and I'm able to create a connection. So thank you. You're very wonderful to talk to.
Yeah, ditto for you guys too. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll wrap up there. Thank you ladies both so much, and I hope you have an awesome weekend, okay?
You too.
Thank you. Bye.